Hello, hello, and welcome to Revelator Al for another live show. I thought I'd just jump on and go through a few things. Nobody's joined yet, but say this is very last minute. I haven't really advertised it anyway. So if you don't join, then just watch the video later, I suppose. But anyway, so if you are coming in, just join the chat. Let us know you're here. And anyway, so there's a couple of things I want to discuss tonight with you. Hey, Preacher Adams. Hello. How are you? Good afternoon to you, where you are in Florida. Basically, tonight it's all about biker events, where you hang out, where you go, that kind of thing. A little bit of that. I've got some info for you on a lot of work that I've been doing the last couple of days on the website as well. And so I'm going to dig into that a little bit. It's not going to be a long live show tonight. It's purely just to, discuss a few things as well. But I've been, we're right in the middle of the rally season here in the UK. As I said in the last live show, it's kind of started to, well, I wouldn't say kick back into life, but the more events are being held this year, and probably the first time they've been held for the last couple of years as well. Hi, James. Hello. How are you? Thanks for joining as well. So there's lots of events coming, and usually July, August are usually the biggest months for outdoor events here in the UK. June, July, August, I would say, and then September. Yeah, still a few, but then it starts to peter off as well. But I've got a couple I'm trying to get to there this weekend as well. I've been to a few of the last few weekends as well, and hopefully there'll be a few more as well. But I'm in two minds whether I want to do some videos from these events. I kind of want to try and keep them separate a little bit. I have done videos in the past from events, but sometimes I think, well, But let us know. Let us know if you want to see that kind of content. Do you want to see content from some rallies here in the UK? I think a lot of the time, I just go there and I just want to have fun, and also want other people to have fun and not have a camera in their face as well. So, but I have done it in the past, and they're all right. I'm gonna say, but maybe just a little short. You might have noticed I've been experimenting quite a lot with shorts recently on the channel. And most of those are just tongue-in-cheek fun, bits of fun. They're not supposed to be serious, just in case somebody was, getting the wrong idea. But it's so I might just do a few shorts from some of these events, or when I'm out on the road a little bit, and just continue that a little bit. I think it's always good to experiment on a channel and just try something new. And also, sometimes you can have a little short 1 minute video or a 30-second video, and you know what, you can cover what you need to cover in just a minute video, really. So especially if it's just a thought as well. Preacher, I'd like to see events in the UK and see how they're different from over here. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing will be the size, first of all, Preacher, because of we just don't usually have huge rallies. So they're they're a lot smaller. We do have some big ones, don't get me wrong, but they're usually a lot smaller, and they usually can be weather affected in this country as well. But the other biggest thing that you'll probably notice from motorcycle events or rallies in this country is that the types of motorcycles that are there are eclectic. There's a it's not Harley Davidson or Indian focus at all. In fact, they're kind of the minority. It's very much, yeah, there's a few British bikes now, and Triumph, yeah, there's quite a few Triumphs, I'd say, would go, but most of it is going to be Japanese bikes that would go to these kinds of events, really. But as I say, it's a covering of all bikes, unless I went to a Harley Davidson specific rally, or a rally for another brand of motorcycle, of course. Let's say like a Honda Goldwing or something like that. But I tend to prefer rallies or events that have a mix of bikes, or if I go to a bike show, for example, I much prefer to see a mix of bikes. I've got to say. But say that's just me. I think sometimes I've been to Harley Davidson events only in the past, or Goldwing events, or you know I've been to Honda in general events or Kawasaki events in the past, and it's just a little bit too much of the same for me. So I do like to, look at things. I mean, I took my lad to a bike show the last weekend, and I was just explaining to him, one of the reasons I like going to the bike shows in particular and looking at people who've worked on bikes or built their own bikes, it always gives you ideas, or all, you kind of analyzing, how they've done it and or what they've done to their bike as well. And I think we're all the same. We're looking at bikes, especially if you've built bikes before or you've worked on bikes in any way, shape, or form. You're always looking to see how they've done it, or not necessarily if you're going to do it yourself, but it's just you've got that natural eye for things as well. But there we go. Oh, Peter, hello there. How are you? Custom shows, Alf. Review the entrance. You see, I think I would definitely love to do a little bit more of that. That would be really cool. And I think so this was a bit of history to this. About 4 or 5 years ago, when I had the magazine, I was actually starting to do this a lot more. And it was going to be obviously in the printed form or the digital form of the magazine. And I was getting in touch with quite a few of the big rally organizers. And yeah, I was given the all clear, as it were, to go and do that kind of thing. Obviously, a lot has changed in the last couple of years, so I think possibly this year that might not. I could just go with the camera and start filming the bikes and everything, but I think it's I want it to be a little bit better than that. But as I say, I'll see how it goes. Possibly next year, as more rallies come online and more bike shows come online, definitely. Like I say, I'm a big fan of UK rocker culture. Oh, well, okay. Well, there's there's the Brighton burn up coming in September, I think, something like that. And that's the mods versus rockers kind of is it a celebration? I think it's a celebration, isn't it? I used to own a Triumph Bobber black. Okay, until a woman ran a stop sign and totaled it. Oh no, that's no good. Oh dear. She obviously didn't see you because you're all dressed in black on a black bike. Oh dear, that's such a shame. But is that the latest the newer Triumph Bobber? Because that's a really nice bike. I actually rode that a few years ago. Actually, when they first released it, lovely bike. That was a lovely bike. But I'd love to do a lot more custom shows, definitely. And I'd love to do bike shows and get footage as well, and and speak to people But the only problem with this is that what I found, and I found this when I was in the magazine as well, it's very hard to get people onto video who are comfortable with being on video as well. So it's not always possible, and it's not always what people are comfortable doing, but also what onlookers want as well. So you kind of have to make it pre-arranged. You can't really kind of do this off the cuff a lot of the time. It's always wise to it depends which rally you go to and which event you go to. If you'd have to seek permission from somebody, you'd have to see who's in the background walking around. Maybe they wouldn't want to be on video, so you kind of have to watch your camera angles and that kind of stuff. But hey, it's all doable. It's all doable. Hey, bro, Mihai there. I've met with you in Insta. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. You've been messaging me on the Facebook, Instagram. I had to discuss about Harley Davidson dealership as a noob. Well, there's not a lot really to discuss, I'd say. I mean, if there's anything that you want or you need to go and find out, just go along to a Harley Davidson dealership. They're a shop at the end of the day, and they'll be selling bikes, or they're going to try and get you to part with your money. I mean, that's what they're there for. What do you think of $1 Million Burgundy? He's been touring the UK. Yeah, I think his channel's really good. I got to say, I flit in and out of his channel. Sometimes I tend to skip forward on the videos as well. I mean, I don't watch it all the time, but what I've seen, I've always liked what he's done, and I always thought it was entertaining. And good. It's good stuff. A lot of the stuff that he would do about taking his bike off road and that kind of thing. All I would say is that, and I don't want to sound negative here because people have been accusing me of being negative, and I don't want to sound negative. But all I would say is this: that the stuff that he's been doing, well, myself and quite a few other people, let's say all over the world, have been taking road bikes off-road for a long time. So in that regard, it's nothing new. However, he is taking a really heavy bike off-road into places, you know, that they're not that comfortable in. Let's put it that way. So he's done great, and it's really entertainment. But it's like anything, isn't it? It's not necessarily what he's doing to the bike or where he's taking it. It's his personality at the end of the day. It's his persona. That's, you know, that's what's interesting. There we go. Okay, so Huda, yes, I mean, I wanted to drive this Harley Davidson bike to East Ham. Okay, so you're in East Ham, right? Okay, but I'm in London, and the Muslim. Okay, well, Muslims got nothing to do with it. Whether you ride a bike or not, your religion's got nothing to do with it. But there's a couple of Harley Davidson dealerships in London. So there's Wars in Chelsea, and there's, I forgot, the other one is not too far away from East Ham, actually, a little bit, I think, south of the river. I forgot what it is, but there we go. Preacher Adams, you ain't negative, you're just honest. Well, I like to think so. I like to think so. Thanks very much for that. But anyway, listen, there's let me just dig into these motorcycle events and hangouts. So on the website, and I'll show you now. Let me just quickly show you what I've done. It is here we go, this one, right? I'm going to share that and see if you can see that. Okay, right, so hopefully you can see this is the website, revelatoralf.com. You'll see here right at the top here, there's a couple of tabs. The first one is motorcycle events and rallies, and basically what I've done, I split it into calendar months. So you click on the month that you want, and these are all UK rallies right now, and there will be for Ireland as well. But you've got a whole list of current bike events. I want to expand it to Europe and the rest of the world, but I think I'm just going to trial this first of all. So basically, this first one right at the top here, China Bike Days, that's what I'll be going to. So I'm trying to gather rallies and events to put on here right now. But this is the thing. If you have an event that you want to promote or you want to have on here, all you need to do is just send an email and just give the details, the address, the location, and all that kind of stuff, and a contact email or a website or anything like that. So that's that one. And I'm going to be adding more and more as I go along. The other one that I've been, the other one I've been working on is the motorcycle hangouts. And basically, this again is for the UK, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Ireland as well. And basically, I've broken it all down to counties, and each county has got motorcycle hangouts in there. So you can see there's a whole list of motorcycle hangouts there, cafes, bars, that kind of thing. Again, I'll be adding to this. So again, if you know of one that you go to yourself and you want to have it included on here, then again, send an email. What I may do with this, right now they're just a list. What I may do is actually link each cafe listing to a Google map. So you just click on it, it'll just take you straight to a Google map as well. But as I say, that's a couple of things I've been working on right now. So the motorcycle events and the motorcycle hangouts. And well, you know, we'll see how that works out, and hopefully it's just a bit of information for you as well. But it's not it's not by no means the finished article. There's a lot more stuff coming on there as well, but there's a lot of work going into it right now. So I think what I've done, I spent 2 days solid just getting the data in there as well, and what I'm going to do is just kind of ease off on it right now and just see if I can get more events on there and more places in the next few days. But I'll wait to see if people start adding as well, and that kind of give me a good indication. And I'll go through my data as well and see if it's what people want to look at as well. But there we go. Metlin Bowflakes, hello there. How are you? Here we go. Are you a member of sport glide groups on Facebook? Often get you have to get a mention. Do you know what, Peter? I used to be, and I think I might still be in a couple. But I've got to say, whilst I had this is the honest truth. When I was doing a lot of the content for the sport glide and the Softails specifically, I asked all the admins on those Facebook pages, if they wouldn't mind me putting out the content there so it could help everybody on there. And okay, so I did that, and I was religiously putting it out there. Then I started to notice that a few comments come in left, right, and center, and I thought, you know what, it's probably about time that people, they probably don't need to see that information anymore. They can get their information from elsewhere. And I think it wasn't just some of the negative comments. It was kind of a thought, well, the bike's been out for 2 or 3 years now, or a couple of years, and I think, you know what, people can get their own information. That initial new bike lack of information, I think I was filling a hole. But thereafter, I think I wasn't really going to be offering anything new that I thought would be of benefit to anybody else. It might be of interest, but not of benefit. So that's why I stopped posting into those Facebook groups. So that's been quite a while now, maybe well over a year, maybe even a couple of years now. I'm not sure. He probably has to go in there. I'm going to still get nice remarks from people and emails from people saying thanks for all the videos and all that sort of stuff. So that's good. I'm glad I did them. But I think if you notice on the channel as well, I don't really tend to do a lot of the technical stuff on the sport glide and the Softails all the time. I might just throw in the odd video here and there, and that's basically when I'm doing something particular on my bike, or I change something on my bike, or that kind of thing, whether I do it as a short or a full-blown video. So that's the kind of thing that I've done now. You might have noticed, again, I've sort of moved into more general information, news, and gossip, really, and about Harley Davidsons as well, but also other stuff. Obviously, I built the bike as well. This other bike, I've got another project build I'm going to be getting into as well. So a lot of the content will be definitely motorcycle specific, but it's going to be Harley Davidson, talking about stuff, but expanding it out, and talking and having discussions with people, and bike builds, project builds, all that kind of stuff. There we go. Right. So I'm just trying to get a couple of the things here. But I'd like to get Harley Davidson, but I'm not in East Ham. I don't live in East Ham. Sorry, I thought you said that's what you said. You lived in East Ham. Sorry. There we go. I think your vids on how to were better than most of the others. Well, thank you, Peter. It's very kind of you. Build a hardtail chopper. Well, hardtail. Well, yeah, I have done in the past. Definitely. I've done all that. In fact, this is before I got into YouTube, and before I think there's a couple of videos somewhere of me, with my old hardtail chop, the one that I built, and there's a couple I've built before, but I never got into social media there or anything before then. So I'm thinking about it. This project build that I've got coming, it depends how it turns into, what it turns into. If it's what I think it is, then it's going to be kind of not a restoration, but a rebuild of this cool bike, which won't be a hardtail chop. It's going to be more like an old school racer. I'll leave it at that. However, if I wanted to build a hardtail chop, and I do want to build another one. I always said, if I'm going to build another hardtail chop, or a bobber or something like that, some really cool, something cool and compact, it would be with a Harley engine, because I've done them with the Japanese engines. I don't really need to do it anymore, but I think that kind of thing. Anyway, James, there we go. I agree with what Peter Ball said. Well, thank you very much. Very kind. There we go. build it, entering a custom show. Well, it's interesting. Every now and again, I get to people ask me, "Are you going to build a bike? Are you going to build a bike and send it over here?" Um, and I think the last hardtail chop I built it in 3 weeks. And okay, so I need to clarify this. I built the bike in about 2 weeks, and then I had to. I was away working. Then I had to do a couple of finishing touches. So it was basically 3 weeks, all in all, start to finish. Um, but then I had electrical problems with it, would you believe? And that took me about 4 or 5 weeks to diagnose and get it sorted out. So, I suppose it took me 8 weeks to finish the build. But it was always one of those hardtail. If you've ever known hardtail chops or custom bikes, they're they're very temperamental. There's always something, and it's usually down to your own, you know, lack of workmanship, let's say that. There we go. But anyway, right. So, but anyway, look, if you want to know, if you want to see more videos about building bikes as well, that's it. I mean, listen, when I did this rebuild of this little fun bike here, before I started, I thought, right, I'm going to break this down 100%, and I'm going to video everything and produce videos. And then I thought, do people really want to see that? And I thought, and the only problem with videoing motorcycle build projects is that it just takes too long. And I really just want to get the bike done and finish, if you know what I mean. So what I ended up doing was making little videos of little interesting things that I'd come across whilst doing the bike, as opposed to just filming the whole thing. And I think for me, that worked better. But I also realized that many people weren't interested in this build. So that's fine. I mean, I did the build for myself, not necessarily to try and get views and everything. And I think it'd be a similar kind of thing if I did the next bike build. I think it'd be interesting to show little snippets of it, but not necessarily a full breakdown of stripping down the bike and me showing you footage of me just lifting up a part and doing that kind of thing. Look, it works for other channels if you're into that kind of thing, but I don't. I couldn't do that. I mean, I look at those channels and I think, crikey, this is like watching paint dry. It's but I can see there's definitely some cool stuff out there, and I know people what they do. And other channels, they buy a bike and they'll split everything down into different videos, and it's great if you want to. Let's say let's put it this way: if I was going to do a total rebuild of a sport glide or any softail, strip it down, start it up again, and just get into every single component. That could be like a complete catalog for anybody who's ever owned a Harley Softail or a Sport Glide to say, that's how you do it. Okay, I can see what that is. I can see how that works. So that would be quite interesting. But it would be great to have that body of work out there, or that's a great set of videos, but it just wouldn't, in terms of for the channel and everything, it would take a long time to do. It'd take a lot of effort to do it, but it would also have minimal exposure. It would have a minimal appeal to a lot of people. So I think some people might find it interesting, especially now the sport glides and the software's been out a few years. People are going to be starting to work on their bikes a little bit more. But I think if it's a case of just any other bike, then maybe just breaking something down into fine details. There is one particular channel which I'm not going to mention, but he does break down every single thing on that bike, all the bikes, and it's every little thing he makes a video of, and it's just and there's a couple of others who've copied as well, just breaking every little thing down, and I just think it just takes too long, for me. But then again, there we go. Ask your viewers what you should do as you build it. That's an interesting. What I should add. That's an interesting one. I have thought about that as well. The problem is, the problem is I would have to rework the schedule on the channel completely, because this is what happens with videos. Basically, you make a video, and then you know, have to edit it and all that, and you might have to schedule it, so it might be 2, 3, 4 weeks behind the actual release date or ahead of the actual release date. So you know, you'd kind of almost have to do it in a live session or a semi-live session. You'd have to film it one day, video comes out the next day, you have to wait for the response. That could take another day, couple of days, and then you get back onto the ideas. So you've got a big gap in between not doing anything. So it really depends. It really depends, you know, what project you're going to do. And you could say, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to be working on the front end, but have you got any ideas for the rear mud guard, the rear fender? What would you like to see? Would you like to see a floating mud guard, a fixed mud guard, you know, that kind of thing? You know, so yeah, interesting. All right, so just trying to catch up on the on some of the here. You are in. So I'm in Woodcock's Beckton Place in the UK. I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. Hey Reverend, you come past with 3 comments. I'm sorry, I'm talking as well. I'm talking as well. What I wrote you, what you haven't seen the most yet, what I said to you, mate. I'm sorry, yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to say to me there. That's a problem. As I say, you know, if you want to go to a Harley dealership, I think I remember you saying from your questions, then just go to a Harley Davidson dealership. They're all over the country, and if you want to ride one, then obviously you're going to have to, as long as you've got a license and you can, you know, you're safe enough to ride, then you might be able to get onto one and go and have a look at them. But the only thing I can suggest you do is go and have a look at a dealership, and you don't have to ask me or anybody about it. Just go and have a look at them, you know, and see if you like them. That's all there is to it. Anyway, right, so that's all I wanted to say tonight, really. There's as I say, there's lots of content coming on the channel. There's loads of it, and there's as I say, another project build coming for me. Which way I go on it, I don't know. When it arrives, it still hasn't arrived yet, so I'm still waiting on all the pieces. And again, it depends what it is, what I find, and how much of a jigsaw it's going to be to put all this back together, which is, you know, it's but there we go. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just not all the nuts are on the engine, Alf. Yep, I know what I know what you're saying, Peter. Diego. Hi, I just got a 2019 Sport Glide. What a beautiful bike it certainly is. Yes, your videos are great. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully they help. So there's, you know, in terms of the videos for the Sport Glide and you know, the Softails in general, and even the Taurus, you know, anything with the M8 engine, you know, I could have made, at one stage, I could have made 4 or 5 videos a day on just those bikes at all, technical videos or explaining certain things or whatever. And I could still do it now. I could still go back to it and talk about a particular thing, or, you know, what does this do? What does that do? But as I say, I got to the point where I thought, you know what, I think it's, you know, just let it breathe a little bit. Let others get into it a little bit more. But so, you know, every now and again I might throw something in there, and I've got a couple of videos coming out on the channel about it. But it was more a case that I always wanted to make sure that I release videos on the Sport Glide and the Softail about things that I was doing to it, or that's something that I was making sure that that might be relevant at that particular time. But anyway, so look, there's lots of stuff going on in the workshop or on the channel coming. I will be trying to get to some rallies and a bit more events for the next couple of months, certainly, at least. I'll try and get some footage as I can. And if you could, you know, if you're at these places or you're watching this video later, you know, come and say hello. If you want to be on video, or if you want to join in one of these live shows, when I do it at a more convenient time. Hey, let us know. Send us an email or something. Let us know what you'd like to talk about, or anything that that you've come across, any information that you've come across. But that's it. There we go. Right. Hey, Fast Belts. Hello there. How are you? There we go. I like to buy Harley Davidson night ride. The fastest limit bike in the planet can beat Harley Davidson street ride. Well, yeah, yeah. They're not about speed, though, are they? Some people like to make them about speed, but they're not about speed. Cheers. Great content always. Come on, you Lions. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Cheers. All right, Pete. Yes. That's me. That's me. That's me. Yes. Thanks for joining. Anyway, that's really good of you. And well, hopefully you'll join again for more. But say there's lots of videos, lots of content. The website on those two, the events and the Hangouts pages, they're going to be developing. So say if you want to send in your best places or your rally events that you want to promote, then by all means do. I'm going to try and pick ones that I come across online and just put them in there as well. It's just something I think that the website can offer. It's not necessarily I want to try and steal from any other website or anything like that. It's more a case of, well, if people are going to come there, at least they've got something else to look at. There's also all the tech specs for all the petrol bikes, all the different brands, and the electric bikes as well. It's all on there. There's a lot behind the scenes on the website these days, which I don't often talk about. I should really talk a lot more about it, but I don't. But anyway, so there's lots of stuff coming on the channel, as I keep on saying. I've also today been looking at other motorcycle channels on YouTube, and I come to realize that I don't tend to look at a lot of other motorcycle channels. But what I found was that when I am looking at other motorcycle channels, Peter, you said $1 Million Bogan earlier on. Yeah, I sometimes watch him, but most of them are American channels, and I don't really watch a lot of the British channels that much. So I kind of been looking around today to see, what other British channels. I know there are some. I know which they are, but I was just wondering if there's some other ones that I hadn't come across. And there aren't that many that I found. So let us know in the comments which are your favorite YouTube channels from the UK. You got the Mr. and Fly, Land Chop Rides, Dad Boys Garage, Dirty Garage Guy, all these kinds of guys, which I don't really watch. Very very rare. Occasionally I watch them. But what I tend to do, I've subscribed to all of these channels now, because then I can get reminders of the videos. And that's what I would say. If you're going to subscribe to my channel as well, hit that notifications bell so you'll know when a video comes up. And it's more about interest to see what they're talking about. But I can't find anybody else who's doing any Harley Davidson content from the UK. There used to be, but not anymore. So maybe I'm alone in that. I don't know. But to say there are others, I'm sure there are. But listen, it's always good to I'd like to do some videos with these guys as well, some these other channels at some point, and just all meet them as well. I don't it'd be interesting to not necessarily to make videos or anything like that, but it'd be interesting to meet these people and see what they think about the whole process of making videos and all that kind of stuff. And it'd be an interesting chat from my point of view, but also to talk about bikes and all that sort of stuff, and see what their take on the whole YouTube thing or the motorcycle industry as well. And because a lot of them are saying not into Harleys at all, and so it'd be a different thing as well. There are lots of channels that have started up over the last couple of years as well, and then they sort of faded away, and then there are channels of people who are just getting into riding, lads and girls who are just getting into riding as well. So totally different age group, totally different sort of demographic as well. So it's it'd be interesting to see what what the these other channels come from, or what they can come up with as well. And I think that some of the British channels or the UK channels, it's a different thing over here. you know, as I said in a couple of live shows ago, you know, it's between USA and British or UK, it's a different vibe, and this also comes across, I think, in the videos as well. Is there is a different vibe to how we do it, and maybe I don't know, maybe in some cases we're a little bit more reserved. We're not as outgoing. We're not as in public. This is the opportunities for us to go out and film anywhere and do sorts of things, you know, it does appear that there's a lot more freedom to do those kinds of things elsewhere, or people are a lot more accepting of you filming, whereas people are accepting over here, but you do feel like a bit of a donut when you're doing it, I've got to say, or I do as well. You can't get away from that. It's just one of those things. But anyway, so you know, but you know, I'm kind of looking around to see what else other people do. It just as a cursory look. I mean, it's not going to change the way I do things, and I'm always very careful of not watching too many other channels because I don't want them to influence what I'm doing as well, or certainly don't want to end up inadvertently copying what anybody else is doing as well. So I try and keep it, you know, coming from up here as well. But hopefully you'll like what I do. Hopefully you'll like the angles which I'm taking, or the opinions which I'm giving, or the scenarios which I'm sort of exploring really, and asking questions. And you know, and I always say this: the videos that I make are pretty much the conversations that I will be having in a pub, in a cafe, in a rally, whatever, with another bike, or with somebody else who rides a bike, and we'd be talking about, oh, what do you think about Norton? What do you think about, you know, Triumph? What about Harley? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, everybody's got their reservations about this, or their pros and their cons. That's what it is. That's what, you know, that's what these videos are always about. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, road trips always entertaining. Yeah, I've done a few of those in the past as well. And again, I'm kind of going to be experimenting with full-blown videos or shorts on those as well, I think. And I've done quite a few videos recently of me been out and about. Yeah, just static, I know, next to the bike. But that's pretty much when I'm out and about, going off and exploring and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, maybe maybe a road trip might be coming. Again, I've got about 100 road trips that I've planned, let's say planned, or planned out in my mind to film. But it's a case of getting around to it and doing it, I suppose. But anyway, listen, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the show. I say it was a bit of an impromptu one, and there we go. Oh, here we go. You are more than good in that you do. I have learned a lot watching your watching videos. Level Sport Learn 19. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad they help. Cheers. Cheers. Gotcha. I learned loads of Guinness. Do you know what? I do like a bit of a drop of porters. And yeah, and those of you who know will know. But anyway, listen, Gadget, I would love to come over to Ireland this year. Do you know what? I still may do it. A cheeky little one. You never know. A cheeky little trip over to Ireland. A couple of pints of the black stuff. Yes, sounds good to me. But anyway, listen, whatever you're doing this weekend, have a great weekend. And I hope you're getting out and about on your bike. I think the weather's going to be largely okay over here, or wherever you are in the world. And I'm sure it'll be fine. But even if it's crappy weather, just get out and ride, and go and enjoy yourselves. But say, all that stuff I was saying about the motorcycle events and the rallies and the hangouts, that's all on the website now, and it's just going to be constantly added to over it. So if you're interested in that, you want to find out what you want to do, what you can get up to, go over to the website. Right. Anyway, that's it, guys. I am out of here. And thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And well, lots more stuff coming very, very soon. But that's it. I need to go and have a bit of liquid libation just to see me off for the rest of the night. Catch you again. Ta-ra, and more videos coming tomorrow.